my skin so gorgeous. We thank the life gorgeous. Thank the life gorgeous. I love the life gorgeous. Its torso is so tight.
Welcome to Life Gorgeous. It's Craigers. Wolves win, Wolves win. This is where I share my magical life in hopes of improving your life. It's called The Life Gorgeous, and man, it is gorgeous. Now, there he is. I want to tell you about my man Kyle. Playing hurt. He lost his voice yesterday. We're going to talk about that. He appears on the Dane Moore podcast, which is maybe the most complete analytics of the Timberwolves. And I'm going to try to get Dane on in the next few weeks as long as we advance to the first round, to the second round. And he also appears on Flagrant Howls live after the games with Phil Mackey and Judd Zolgad. People like you, Kyle.
Yeah, that still takes a lot to figure out. I'm not always sure why, but I literally landed in Portland about 12 minutes ago. I haven't seen my wife yet. And
I'm sorry. I feel guilty.
As soon as I pulled up, I got a text from Craig, and I was like, absolutely. So, and I will just off the top apologize for how I sound. Craig has become a really good, legitimate friend of mine, and he's always been telling me and trying to coach me to maybe drink a little less. So during this playoff run, I guess I've just picked up chain smoking. But this is my voice for the next couple of days. But what a weekend. I was in Minneapolis. I was in LA last week, but in Minneapolis for games 3 and 4, and two of the best basketball games, Craig, I've ever watched.
Yeah, someone, actually it was Chad Hartman. I saw a tweet this afternoon said he can't remember 2 consecutive games that great in Timberwolves playoff history, back-to-back home games. A lot of fun tweets going out there. I'm going to try to save your voice. I was prepared to do a solo pod. I do solo pods because there's an intimacy with the audience, one-on-one with Craigers, the listener and Craigers. But I think the game yesterday deserves some Kyle. And people ask, why are the Wolves up 3-1? Well, we're Minnesota tough, and Kyle is proving that right now. He's a smoker. He's a drinker. No, were you screaming at the game? No, you can't because you're in media row. You can't cheer in media row.
I definitely think I got whatever Luka had in game 3. He might have passed it on to me. But in game 4, it was on media row. It was Judd, Phil, me, and then my buddy Jack. So we were kind of getting into it a little bit. Okay. I know it's not professional, but we were having a good time in game 4, especially that fourth quarter where it's like they were down 10 and then all of a sudden they were right back in it.
Yeah, and I do want to put on the brakes to everyone. I was going to lead with this. Let's pause for poise. The series is not over.
100%.
3 games to 1. I'm the one guy that knows how good Luka and LeBron. And if we lost it, I wouldn't be apoplectic because I would say this happens. The games are so close. However, I'm going to hit you with the stat that the Lakers, it's going to be tough for them to overcome. This is a special from the radio voice Alan Horton. In this series, Lakers fourth quarters. Game 1, they shot 28% in the fourth, 26% game 2, 35% game 3, and 28% yesterday. They've been outscored every time. Last night, 32-19, game 3, 30-20. So everyone talks about depth. Wolves have more depth. The Lakers are not coming through in the fourth quarter. So it looks like we should be able to win this series. That's how cautious I am. Up 3-1. I want to win Wednesday, but I don't know if that's going to happen. What are your thoughts about making sure we finish off this series and the Lakers struggling in the fourth quarter?
That Alan Horton tweet was probably my favorite stat because it just kind of reminded me, like, I don't know much about horse racing, but I still watch it. And it just reminds me of like when you just are asking your horse to just keep going, probably way too far from the finish line. And I think that's what JJ Redick did last night. I mean, game 4, the story isn't just that the Wolves win and go up 3-1. It's that JJ Redick basically on national TV announced, like, there's 5 guys on my roster that I trust.
Yep.
And he started the second half. I think it threw Finchie and his coaching staff a little bit because they didn't really see that coming, and the Lakers started the third on a 14-0 run.
Yeah.
But he played the same 5 guys for 24 straight minutes in the third and fourth. And that horse was going, but it started to really tire down.
Yep.
And I think in games 3 and 4 in Minneapolis, in the final 6 minutes of each game, Luka and LeBron combined for 0 points. Right. And that's no hate towards two of the best. It's just they're running out of options and they're running out of gas.
Yeah.
Because they're asking those 2 guys and Austin Reeves, but they're asking LeBron and Luka to do so many things. And then you look at the Wolves, it's like, okay, if Rudy's not having a good game or a good series, we'll just go to Naz. If Mike's not having a good series, we'll go to Nikhil or Dante. There's just so many more levers for Chris Finch to pull, and you kind of saw that all weekend in Minneapolis.
Yeah, and the reason I hesitate to celebrate so early is I just have so much respect for the talent of the Lakers' big 3.
Yep.
So I just want to see what happens, because I remember some people saying if there is a game 7, they don't, unlike Denver, they don't think the Wolves will win because of the IQ of Luka and LeBron. I want you to rest your voice for a second. On my solar pod, I was going to talk about this because I posted on Instagram stories on my iconic Instagram a fun picture of me walking around LA asking people who won the game. It's something I've actually done in real life. I didn't like the Kobe Shaq Lakers. They would lose to the Spurs. I'd go out for dinner and I look at the waiter. I say, hey, I didn't catch the score. And I watched the pain on his face when he said the Spurs won. But I want people to know this, Kyle. I think I'm level-headed. I didn't like the Kobe Shaq Lakers because those are 2 of my least favorite players. Shaq with the offensive fouls going through people's chests. Kobe with the poor shot selection, 44 points in career field goal percentage. But I do like Luka, and I do like LeBron, and I love Austin Reeves. And here's the big one. You don't have to agree with this. Might be before your time. Some people say the Bulls of the 90s are the greatest team of all time. I think it's the Showtime Lakers with Magic and Kareem. Specifically, I think the year was 87. But so I'm level-headed with the Lakers. I just didn't like the Kobe Shaq Lakers. And I do like this team, and I respect them. And it's not over.
No, I agree. That was my kind of takeaway doing Dane's pod last night with Britt Robson was just 3-1's good. Monday night, you're going to get Rockets-Warriors game 4. And as a Timberwolves fan, maybe you have one eye on that series because whoever comes out of Wolves-Lakers will play the winner of Golden State-Houston. But maybe not Laker fans, but I just have so much respect for LeBron and Luka. And like, I'm not going to trust that series is over until I read it in the Star Tribune the next day. Right. I need to see them fully take care of business. And again, LeBron has done so many things in his career, including coming back from down 3-1.
Correct.
But the only thing that gives me a little more confidence than normal, and I'm not a very confident guy, as you know, is that when being around this team for a week, as close as I was at all these pre and post game stuff and hanging out with the team, they don't give off the energy of like, we're happy to be here.
Right.
And I think last year's Western Conference run and the fact that they did get kind of punked in 5 games by Luka, they don't come into these post-game pressers being like, oh my God, like we're so good. It's a very business mentality. So I think they're packing for LA for a business game, and we'll see what happens. They do have it in their back pocket to come home on Friday if they need a game 6. But yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, the King has to be fully knocked out before I'm going to celebrate that.
Very good. Exactly. And I'm telling you, man, if JJ Redick had made a few substitutions, if LeBron was fresher in the 4th, he took a bad, I thought, 3-pointer at the end of the game that could have given them a lead.
Yeah.
And it was like, thank you for forcing that, I don't know, 30-footer or 29-footer. It was not good. Did you see Skip Bayless's tweet during the game or not?
I try not to, but they do find their way into my timeline. But he was on one last night. Which one are you specifically talking about?
This game is over. Lakers just want it more than the T-Wolves do. Lakers are just, first of all, they're not T-Wolves. They're Timberwolves or Wolves.
Yeah.
You know? Lakers are just a little better. T-Wolves are happy to go back to LA 2-all. Lakers will win game 5 pretty easily. Then we'll see if Ant-Man feels like going back to LA for a game 7. Because the Lakers were playing well there in the second half. And what did you feel like? What was it like in the third quarter there with the crowd and the Lakers kind of controlling the game?
Well, this is probably not going to be the most basketball analysis you've ever heard, but at the start of the third quarter, there was 12 people in their seats. because concessions and bathroom breaks and everything. And I was a little frustrated of like, we gotta
Right.
talk to people that we know, Craig, and get that process
Yeah.
expedited, because it was very empty in the lower bowl, despite that being the loudest targets. I mean, our guy Johnny Krasinski has been doing this for 21 years. He said that's the loudest Target Center's ever been. But in the third quarter, when they went on that 14-0 run, there wasn't a lot of people there to like build up the team. So once everyone got back to their seats and the Wolves started to kind of regain their footing, I think this fan base has, because of Ant and his confidence that he can kind of do anything, has started to embrace that. And there was never, I don't want to say no doubt. I mean, they were like, oh my God, like we're down 10 to start the fourth. But
Yeah.
they had a calming confidence about them that once Ant came out in that fourth quarter and swapped threes,
Yeah.
I think it was his three, Austin Reeves' three, and then Ant hit another one. They kind of sensed the moment of like, number 5 is probably going to take us to the finish line here. And it was just an incredible crowd that, for the Lakers having no depth and running out of timeouts and no challenges,
Yeah.
just the sound in that building. When Naz Reid hit that 3 in transition above the break, I've never heard a stadium louder than that
Yeah.
moment.
I love it. I'm going to get there. I'm going to get there for round 2. If knock on wood, if
Knock
we
on wood,
advance.
yeah.
I was just thinking we could talk to A-Rod and ask him, should we have concessions end early? That's a profit. You're going to lose some profit to get the fans back in the seats for the beginning of the third quarter. Tough decision as a team owner, right?
We just got to deliver food and beer to people's seats. Because again,
Okay.
it was weird. It was weird to look down and like, okay, the Lakers 8-0 run.
Yeah.
Now it's 11. They don't have a center out there, and you look around and there's like no one to will the team back to victory. So between that and my hatred, Craig, for free towels, we got to start giving the people shirts. These tickets are so expensive.
Right.
They deserve a piece of memorabilia, but that fan base and Game 3 and Game 4, a late Sunday night, and then a matinee game on Sunday. That was such a fun weekend in downtown Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And you had all the other stuff with the Twins and all these other in the wild. But yeah, the Timberwolves dominated the weekend.
So you mentioned John Krasinski, aka Johnny Athletic, and I always put pressure on the Ant-Man before the playoffs. I did it last year. I said ultimately it's up to him, because I've seen Dwayne Wade win championships, a championship by himself against Dirk, and it's the best player has to rise to the occasion, and he did it last year, and now he's doing it again. And his floor game and his decision making and his passing and his scoring. This is Johnny Athletic. I don't know if you saw it. I got to read it.
So good.
There's a line in here. He says, this is Johnny Athletic, John Krasinski from The Athletic, talking about Anthony Edwards. Edwards can say all he wants about not wanting to be the face of the league when LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant finally decide to move on. His mouth says one thing. His game says another. Here comes the line that we all love. The people gravitated toward Jordan's cutthroat nature, to Kobe's Mamba mentality, to Iverson's culture defiance, and to James, Curry, and KD for their unique brilliance. Try as he might to avoid it, the spotlight is drawn to Edwards like Coppola's camera was to Pacino.
Oh,
Johnny Athletic.
best in the business. Best in the business.
That's his magnum opus, that sentence right there. That's the greatest thing Johnny's ever done, except play the Life Gorgeous quiz on the Life Gorgeous. Anyways, Ant's playing well. I mean, I don't know what it was like there. What was it like when he went down, when LeBron landed on his ankle knee?
I mean, I'm going to speak out of both sides of my mouth, but if you've been following him, as I know you have his whole career, you do kind of start to be like, he's going to be fine. Right? Like, how many times have we seen him go down and it's like, oh my God, Ant's dead. And then it's like, oh, just kidding, he's back. But that one looked a little different because the way, I mean, it wasn't a dirty play by LeBron, in my opinion, but it was.
Not yet. It will be in game 5. They'll be
Right. You don't want guys diving at people's legs. And I
Right.
get it. That was just the heat of the moment. But it looked like his ankle in real time, but then he was holding his knee and you're like, oh
Right.
my God, like, every playoffs, there's always something, right? Like even last night or on Sunday night, Damian Lillard had that Achilles. So you just didn't know. And he laid there forever, kind of like Simba in Lion King. But then when he got up, he was totally fine. It rejuvenated the crowd again. But it was a scary moment for sure. And I think his teammates, I mean, I don't know what you thought, but when I think of last year's playoff run, I remember that moment where he's barking at KD, his guy, and they're going back and forth. That was, I think, game 1 or 2 at Target Center. He's kind of doing it against LeBron too, right? Like he was basically, I called it the Oklahoma drill, where him and LeBron were just pushing each other.
Yeah.
But to Johnny K's just kind of overall take here, I think Ant has that perfect line of he respects his elders. He looks up to them. He shouted out LeBron post game saying like he really took care of me for the Olympics and like kind of big brothered me. But he also fears no one. Like he's not trying to be your friend. He's not trying to build a super team like we're used to back in the day. Like he really wants to go for your throat. And I thought what he was doing, LeBron, he ended up getting called for a foul. He should have been because he fouled him 9 times. But he kind of was setting the moment for the rest of his teammates, being like, hey, we're not scared of you just because you're from LA. I think that translated, especially in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I love the way he's playing, and the supporting cast is doing well. I know I asked you when you go to the Laker games if they have monitors in Media Row. Do they have monitors for you guys in Minneapolis or not? Target Center?
We kind of had a setup in our row where we could like replay stuff. In LA, there's not. And then in LA, they never run replays on the Jumbotron, whereas in Minnesota, they will. So I think that's whether that's strategic or not, or there's just too many beautiful people to show at the games. But we had a monitor last night, so we could kind of see like the overhead shot of that foul. We got to see some of that stuff in real time.
So I wanted to talk about the controversial plays. Have you seen a replay, a close-up of the trip? You know, JJ Redick said Luka was tripped, you know, because they had to call a timeout, and then there was the inbounds pass was stolen. He stepped on his foot. He stepped on Jaden McDaniel's foot and fell down. If you're allowed to do that and get a foul, everybody can just get to the foul line by stepping on a foot and falling down. So I don't call that an official trip at all. You know what I'm saying? Did you get to see that or not?
Yeah, in real time, it didn't look like a foul in real time. And then when you watch the replay, you saw the foot, which I didn't pick up right away. Post game, JJ was very animated that Luka just doesn't fall down on his own, which was a little hot take-ish because if you remember earlier in the game when Luka drove left to right baseline and kind of threw up that spinning shot against Jaden, who was fully vertical, Luka just fell down on his own.
He crumbled.
But it was weird because the one thing I will give the Lakers in that moment is they like called a timeout, but then it gave Finch. This was this was on the foul on LeBron, but like it was a little weird officiating towards the end of like when the Lakers called a timeout on that out of bounds play on Ant, but then Finch was able to challenge it. But then I think the Lakers lost their timeout anyway. So, but to the Jaden thing, there is just so much going on in these playoffs, and I would rather just lean towards swallowing the whistle. We saw that in the Detroit Knicks game. It's like I would rather, if you're going to let a game be physical for 47 minutes and 50 seconds, you just let it go all the way. So I don't know, again, haven't really showered yet, but I should look up the rule of if you step on a player's foot and fall down, is it a foul?
Right.
But if it is, then that's my MO attacking the paint, is I'm just hunting feet.
Exactly. No, it's ridiculous. It's not an official trip. The other one, was interesting when, you know, hand's part of the ball is what LeBron said, but he did get the wrist, so it's not. So it is a foul. I mean, I guess they could have let it go, and then you would have seen if they could have scored. We were up 1, but I kind of like letting stuff go. Like Tim Hardaway got bumped on the 3. I don't want to see him at the free throw line, but it's tough. It's tough. I like when people make plays. Did you think at the end when Austin Reeves had the 3-pointer to tie in the corner, there's that logic of fouling prior? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we all kind of messed up as a media group for not asking Finch after the game, being like, you know, in hindsight, would you have fouled? I mean, obviously they got a miss, but
do you guys want me to send questions right after the game?
That would be helpful. Yeah, just send them to Dane, and then we'll ask him. But I do think it's come up before. I think Jace Frederick of the Pioneer Press has asked. And I don't think Finchie is a follow-up 3 guy. There was opportunities. Like Luka did get doubled, if you remember, by I think Naz, and then Ant goes to LeBron. Ant, despite his heroics and just how awesome he is as a super-duper star, also kind of missed Austin in the corner. Like Austin Reeves got a good look, I thought. But that was there's no timeouts. They didn't have any time to drop a play, and to make Austin Reeves be the guy to have to take that shot is probably something Finch will live with. And even if it went into overtime, I think they would have had the advantage with the depth and just rested bodies. But I think the one that was interesting to me, someone told me this in real time last night, but the angle of that LeBron foul, right? I know LeBron said hand is part of the ball, but also my knees are part of my body type thing. Like the wrist is not your hand.
Right.
I don't know if you remember this last year, Mavericks Timberwolves, but there was that weird moment where Karl Anthony Towns had like a weird putback dunk. It was a goaltend, and we saw this new camera angle that we've never seen before. I think
Yeah.
it's called Hawkeye 3D technology. It's the same stuff they used in the Aaron Gordon putback dunk
Yeah.
against the Clippers. So there is some new. This is the world for it. There's some new tech out there that you and I aren't privy to. But when you saw the above the angle camera, it's like, yeah, man, he's hitting him on his wrist. Like if that was LeBron, that's going to be 10 out of 10 fouls. So
Absolutely.
it was a big moment. It was a great challenge by Finch. I think Finch is now 7 for 7 on challenges this postseason, which is like cool. But I also think Finch would be pissed that he had to challenge him in the first place.
Yeah.
But having that challenge late in the game, I mean, JJ burned his in the second quarter, and I think it really hurt them.
Yeah.
Finch did a great job of holding on to that for the biggest moment, and then Ant went to the line and delivered.
7 of 7. Naz, I think, is 9 for 9 shooting in the fourth quarter in the series. So much fun. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's hard to believe, but there's a new item at Omaha Steaks, the Smash Burger. Everybody loves Smash Burgers, the crispy caramelized sear in the bold, beefy flavor. You can make Smash Burgers at home without the hassle or mess with Omaha Steaks' all-new Smash Burgers. They're pre-smashed and 100% extra aged beef that won't fall apart when you flip them. And right now, listen to this. You can get 16 free Smash Burgers in the Built for the Grill pack at omahasteaks.com/smash. I just got my order of Smash Burgers from Omaha Steaks, and I made them Sunday after the big game. Of course, the big game, the Timberwolves somehow beat the Lakers to go up 3-1 in the series. So what does Kilby do? Well, it was a little too cool for linen, so I threw in a casual sweater, slacks, and loafers and went out to the backyard and fired up the grill. Was there a beverage? Oh, you betcha. Chilled martini. And then I made the Built for the Grill Smash Burgers. I like to use a slice of sharp cheddar cheese, and I toast some sourdough bread instead of a hamburger bun. It's part of being very sophisticated. The flavor of the Smash Burger, by the way, is absolutely divine, and I deserve it. Wolves win. Don't forget, Omaha Steaks has been America's original butcher since 1917, a family-owned company with over 100 years of expertise in the meat industry. Get ready to smash expectations with new Omaha Steaks Smash Burgers. Visit omahasteaks.com/smash and order the Built for the Grill pack with 16 free Smash Burgers. That's 16 free Omaha Steaks Smash Burgers at omahasteaks.com/smash. See site for details. Are you and Dane coming out for Game 5 or not?
Dane is on his way there tomorrow. I need to try to keep my marriage going, so I'm going to stay back and watch this one at home and send you all my thoughts.
Interesting. I didn't know. I was going to ask you. So you're putting your marriage ahead of the Timberwolves.
Yeah, that's on me. That's my bad. When I
That's
was
not,
in LA,
that's not going to help us win a championship.
I got to make more sacrifices. You're right, but I'm still recovering from LA. Like this is my LA voice. This isn't my Minneapolis voice. You and I got to hang out one night, and that kind of set me back a couple weeks. So I'm going to let the Wolves take care of business hopefully on Wednesday, and if it gets to Game 6, we'll reevaluate. But they did everything. They answered every question you could want to answer this weekend in Minneapolis, and I'm excited to see, because this team, as you know, watching all these games, like they do start to feel themselves a little bit and let their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing you want to do against a guy like LeBron.
Yeah, I'm till it's over, man. I'm thinking it's going to, I think the Lakers might, win Game 5, and then it'll be pressure on us. We'll see how it unfolds. You mentioned something, ladies and gentlemen. Young Kyle Theige was in LA and got to have dinner with Craig Kilborn, and
It was my
that
honor.
had to be pretty exciting. It was a total of 4 of us:
Yep.
Dane Moore, Chris Hine, Kyle, and myself at Rayo's Hollywood. What are some of your memories of that night? What was it like seeing me have a martini? Dane had a martini. I was so pleased for him. I was proud of him. I didn't know what he would drink. I thought he might be drinking beer, What was that evening like?
Again, you're my real friend, but I will say that hanging out with you that night, you weren't even the coolest person in the restaurant, because I got to meet Johnny Roastbeef, who was the nicest guy I've ever met. And then we got to go hang out with Michael Grady and see how he lives. And Michael Grady is the healthiest person in the world, and he keeps that voice going by drinking hot water and lemons. So
Yeah.
it was a fantastic night. The food was amazing. That spot was amazing. And we could have used you at games 1 and 2, but I understand, much like me, you like to watch those things in private. So it was a great weekend in LA. The split, you would have loved to have seen them be greedy and steal game 2, but that was a great weekend, and you put us on. So I speak for Chris and Dane. We appreciate you greatly.
Yeah, and Johnny Roastbeef, for the people listening and watching, is an actor from Goodfellas. Bought the Cadillac he wasn't supposed to, spent the money, he wasn't supposed to do that. And he works at Rayo's Hollywood. Very nice guy, comes by the tables and says hi. And hockey fan, not a hoop fan. What did you order that night? Food-wise.
Best chicken parm of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Best chicken parm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so Johnny ordered too. I took Johnny there. He ordered the chicken parm. Can't go wrong with chicken parm. I wanted to bring up an old friend of ours who I couldn't believe what I saw yesterday. Karl Anthony Towns. Did you get a chance to see the last 5 minutes of that game?
Yeah, the way it works in like the media room, we're all kind of just hanging out, having snacks, getting caffeinated. So we had that game on, and it was incredible to watch. I mean, for anyone that hasn't really watched Knicks Pistons, like Karl had a really bad game too. Series got evened up, and then they went to Detroit, and I thought he's responded in game 3 by being really aggressive. Former friend of ours, former teammate, and then in game 4 to hit that absurd baseline fadeaway.
I know.
That was incredible. And then to come back and hit that, I mean, that 3 is a Karl Anthony Towns specialty, right? Like just above the break, 29-footer. I thought he's been awesome. And I'll let you take this wherever you want, but it was interesting to like watch that play out and be like, man, Karl's hooping in New York. And then watch Julius do what he did.
Yeah.
It was the first time in Julius Randle's playoff career, which I think is about 30 or some games, that he's never had a turnover. And then it was Dante DiVincenzo had 5 steals. So it was a good reminder that in sports, you can have like a win-win trade. And I think the Knicks got what they needed, and the Wolves definitely got what they needed.
I have it written down here. I think both teams won the trade, but it's an even trade for both. Knicks love Cat, and I love having Dante and Julius Randle, who notoriously struggles in the playoffs. He's doing very well. Maybe less pressure on him because of the Ant-Man. Dante hasn't even hit his stride yet in this series, hitting the jumpers. He'll start hitting a few, but he's playing a great floor game. I loved his 3-point play yesterday. So I think you and I and Johnny like Cat. Others, I struggle a little bit with people who have such an aversion to Cat because I just can't believe the way he shoots. I know about the idiosyncrasies and the silly fouls. I think he's playing maybe his best basketball. He had a very good game 1. Game 2, he only had 10 points, but I contend that they don't look for him enough, and others said that. They didn't give him the ball. He had 31 in game 3. In that game, I said that might be one of his best playoff games ever. Then I'm watching yesterday. He's actually shooting not under 50%, gets his 4th foul with about 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left in the third quarter, and I go, this is trouble. Mm-hmm. Tibbs keeps him in, and he plays. And then at the end of the game, there was a cross-court pass from Brunson, thank God, because he needs to look for Cat more. On the right, he passes to the right side. Cat hits a 3. And the turnaround jumper on the baseline, that's not what he does. He doesn't do turnaround jump shots like that. And it was a high arcing. It looked like it had to go over the backboard a little bit. And then the step back 3. I guess it could. He's never hit 3 big shots in a playoff game like that late in the game. So this is about as clutch as you can see Cat play.
Yeah, my biggest Cat thing, because I still like him and I still watch all those Knicks games, is I don't know. I think he played roughly 60 so games this season. He only took 10 or more threes 3 times. And that's to me on Tibbs. That's to me on Brunson, like you said, just finding him, because you can't call yourself the greatest big man shooter of all time and then not let it fly. So in that game 2 against the Pistons, I think he only took 2 threes, Craig. Yeah. And then in game 3, he took 8. And last night on Sunday, he was 5 for 7 from 3. So that is one of his strengths. He is unguardable no matter who the big is. Yes. They don't want to go out that far. And if you do, Karl will get you and then be able to drive to the rim. And I think that's kind of how he got that little fadeaway too. Yeah. So everyone knows the Knicks belong to Brunson, and Brunson took that huge pay cut, and that's why they've been able to build the team that they have. But if they're going to make any noise, I mean, I would imagine they close this one out against Detroit. But if they make noise in the next round, I think against Boston, they're going to need Karl to be 8 or 9 threes a game,
Right.
32 points, 10 rebounds. So I'm happy for him getting a moment like that with his new team.
I love it because I don't have to worry about him now on the Wolves. I actually love the trade now because I get to watch, he's with the Knicks and I get to watch Julius Randle and Dante. It's like perfect. You know how people say, oh, Karl Anthony Towns, he's not going to win a championship. I always find that irritating. But Porzingis won a championship. He obviously doesn't get paid as much as Cat. He won it with the Celtics. Obviously, Cat would win one if he played for the Celtics, but he'd have to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
So I don't always, these things about, certain guys don't win championships. He's better than Porzingis, and Porzingis won a championship. So whatever. I don't know if that's a good example. Maybe not.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I would like to see Cat win one. I would like to see it somehow not in a Knicks uniform because I'm not super cheering for any New York team, but he's really answered the bell for them because I don't know if they've gotten the production out of like a Mikal Bridges that maybe they thought, or like Anunoby's been obviously a stud defensively, but they're another team that doesn't really have a lot of depth, so they rely heavily on Karl to not only be an offensive sidekick next to Jalen, but he's really had to step up his defense a little more, and you saw his defense at a better level than that last year. I mean, he was a big reason like he could fly around and give Kevin Durant a little fits, and then the next round he has to go against Jokic. So it's like he is starting to come into his own a little more. I think he, just like Julius and Dante, by the way, and they were very open about this, it took them time to acclimate not only to a new team and a new city, but like a new culture. Yeah. And I think the Knicks culture is just vastly different than what the Wolves have going on. So when they needed him the most, Karl's played at his best, and I'm really happy for him. And I'm also really happy for Tim Connolly and Chris Finch because I think they're starting to get exactly what they wanted out of those two former Knicks and Julius and Dante.
We're going to save your voice. We're going to wrap it up with a little fun field goal percentage game. I don't know if it's a game. If you don't want to guess, I'll just tell you. But I think Cat was self-proclaimed best shooting big man of all time. And I wrote down 3 guys. So I don't consider, I guess KD, I don't consider him a big man. But I have field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, and free throw percentage, which surprised me, of Cat, Kevin Durant, and Dirk Nowitzki. So I looked it up today, and because sometimes, a pure shooter has really good free throw percentage. Hence, Steph Curry shoots close to 90 or does shoot 90. First, I'm going to ask you career field goal percentage of those 3 guys. 1, 2, 3. Do you have what you want to guess? Field goal percentage.
And it was Dirk, KD, and who?
Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm gonna say, I think, does Cat have the highest field goal percentage?
Yes, he does. He's at 52.4.
Okay.
Kevin Durant is second at 50.2, and Dirk was 47.1. Dirk took a lot of jump shots. 3-point field goal percentage between those 3.
Oh, it has to be Karl.
It is Karl. 40% for his career.
Yeah.
KD is 39%. Dirk is 38%. It's weird that they're actually even numbers there. Career free throw is what threw me off. I did not expect this. Career free throw percentage between those 3 guys.
Is Dirk one?
Dirk is second at 87.9.
Okay.
Kevin Durant is 1 at 88.2. Cat's at 83.7. I thought it'd be higher. I'm always surprised when he misses a free throw, and he is too, but he does miss them sometimes.
I think that's a little bit of just being at the free throw line. Everyone's looking at you. Yeah. And that's probably it. That's just a little more pressure, a little more guys, everyone looking at you. So it doesn't surprise me that Karl has the best 3-point percentage because I think he knows it too. Like he's very much likes the efficiency. And that was my one gripe is like, hey man, just let it fly. Like who cares if you dropped to 38%, but you doubled your volume? Like that is such a weapon. So I love that game. I wanted to say one thing to you because I think, speaking of stats, after this pod, I might be the most recurring guest on this pod, but another friend of yours I got to meet this weekend. Dave McMenamin is like the nicest guy in the world. Yeah. And he sets up like these morning basketball runs. Yeah. Unfortunately, as you can hear in my voice, he set it up real early on Saturday. I think it was originally scheduled for 8 a.m. If you remember in Minneapolis, the game started on Friday night at 8:45 p.m. So it was an early morning for me, but I let Dave down. I did not show up to the YMCA downtown. But Dave McMenamin is a 10 out of 10 person, a gem, really good reporter, and my first time meeting him. So I said I'd give my best to you, and he's a wonderful dude, and we'll see what happens with. I know they're not his Lakers, but he's been at the Laker games I've been at. So small world.
He's a nice guy. It's funny. About 6 months ago, there was a video. I think he sent me a video, or maybe it was on his Instagram, of him shooting around in the gym, and the camera was behind him. So I saw his form, and I critique forms. And I could have sworn I saw a hitch, and I said Kevin Martin to him, and he got so upset. So then he sent me a video last week of it, and I didn't see it. It was in front of his head. And I said, oh, it's in front of your head, which is good. It looks good, though. It looks good, but it's a little low in front of your head. It's good. A little like Bobby Hurley, if I remember his correctly.
Yeah.
And then he said, not Bobby Hurley. It's more like Chris Mullen or Steve Nash. Like he was naming these really good shooters.
Yeah, and to his credit, I think we're not age shaming here, but he might just have trickled into his 40s. He was the first guy up Saturday morning, so after no sleep, he was ready to get those shots up. So I let Dave down. I'll have to make it up to him, but I heard he is a pretty good basketball player, and if you were working on the shot mechanics a little bit, I'm sure he's gotten even better from the outside as a jump shooter.
Kyle, thank you, sir. Thanks for playing hurt. I want you to shower, rest, hot water, honey, tea, and I hope we close it out on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm whatever happens, the city of Minneapolis, the state of Minnesota is guaranteed another basketball game. We'll see if it's game 6 or if it's another series. But whenever they come back and play again at home, I will say it was an actual thing going on in the lower level. People were wondering where you were. So I know you got some stuff going on right now, but the city cannot make another Western Conference Finals run until you show up for a game.
A lot of pressure. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
That's our show, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time. And remember, young people, I'm proud of you.